Okay, this is 3/4 inch, 8.5 inches long, got it marked off. Half hammer face blows on the near side, now on the far side, half hammer face blows, rounding hammer, and here where my forging starts and stops, divide this up to the near side. Now I'm going to lay this back down straight. Now I'm going to go right back through. I'm going to swoop it this time. Flat side. This is the most important part, getting the near side down. It's a rectangular form, so I'm going to hit twice this side. I'm going to get down below the boss area. There it is. Now I just go back and finish up, or not finish, but divide the metal up. This is a tong blank. I'm going real slow. I grabbed a bigger hammer so that I could go slower. That's the tong blank. Okay, I'm going to do the middle taper. Half hammer blows over far with the rounding hammer. I'm going to go ahead and rough it out up here. Hold it at an angle to do this. I'm going to pick up a little bit more here. It doesn't fit across my anvil here. I'm going to hit on the anvil here, 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 here. Now I'm going to get on the edge. I'm out of heat, but this will be what I'll be doing next. Near side, grabbing little bits. Okay, I'm going to heat it up. Flat dies when I get down to the level that I'm almost done. Now I'm going to bar this area up right in here. Near side, round eye is more aggressive. If it gets too big on the anvil, go ahead and come back. You go real fast with this, you'll eat it up a lot quicker. Go slowing down so you can see what the metal does, what dies you use. Now on this, you can go ahead and do a round or start the round. Half on, half off with the flat dies, and I'm octagon. Okay, now what I need to do is I'm going to grab some more length on the far side, do what I did to get that. I need some more length in here. Okay, so far side, leave about 1.5 inches for my next tong. This is where the middle taper, where all the length will come out, so you don't have to use tongs to make tongs. Just don't go too small, too fast into the air. Flat dies. Flat dies on the diagonal. That needs more heat. Okay, on this taper, I'm gonna smooth it more, blend it, make it round, going into my next side of my tong jaw. I want to unicorn horn it, half on, half off. See it come around here. I'll take it off on the top side. And flat dies, tell it the angle of the taper. This will help too if I don't have my tongs right in line with each other. The rounds, it won't matter which side I started on. And you notice I haven't finished any area yet. I'll go ahead and get that little round part. Even though it's not diagonal, aren't taking off, take them off as you go around. And I'll do this a little bit so you can see that unicorn come around. At that heat, it's easy to see. I can get on the anvil here. I don't need to though. I'm not making a, drift or anything. This is just roughed out. Tong blank, one heat tong blank up here, then roughing out the middle. This will be my other tong. So I would go back through and start maybe finishing up this stuff here. So we'll do that next. I'm just going to use my flat dies on the far side, half on, half off. And the hammer stops on the material that's on the anvil, and it just moves out on the other side. Well, the plan is just a little bit on this side. Just rolling around, you see that little bit of extra notch that comes around. I'm taking it down as it comes. This is kind of the bar area of your tong, the ends of the reins. It's not quite the taper you have up at the start. Alright, about to get out of my heat. If you want to neaten anything up, you can get on the anvil and just planish it real lightly. That's not hot enough there. Now again, this was 8 inches to start with. Here's my, I chiseled it or cut it with a hot cut so that you could see. I started out with 8.5 inches, and it's getting length. I don't know if you can see it very well here, but I'm going to go on up into this area now, the same way. It will, as it gets larger, it will taper up. Even doing the flat dice here, it will taper up. So, I'm just going to go up into the lump. And up there where it's rectangular, I haven't taken the edges off yet, so I have to be aware of that when I get there. I'll take the edge. Here, 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 here. I'm going to go back to this. Okay. Now I've got plenty of length if I wanted to turn it around, cut it off, turn it around. So I can do either or. Go and start finishing up that, or cut it off. I'll go ahead and go to this part. Alright, I'm just going to go back to the tongs. I'll start with a tilt here, and then if I want to take it more down here, I'm going to hit half on, half off here, and I'll get on the anvil and chop it up to the taper. I'll come over here angle this way and do that taper. Take this taper, even it out. This I'm going to go ahead and bar out, work into that taper, stay off my boss. See? I can come in here, this is a lot more opened up now. You know, you saw I hit here, so you don't want to finish until you've done what you can. I'm going to go ahead and check that back. If you want, you can come in here. You can always take diagonals if you choose off of lower temperatures. And yeah, I would normally go a lot faster on this, but this enables you to see what I'm doing. Now all I'm going to do is I'll you know, finish these areas. Boss needs to be taller than the rest. This is going to be a taper here, a bar this way. Okay, so finish this, smooth it, flat size. Here, just check my boss. I want to tilt here, lower it just a notch, come back here, lower it just a notch, then diagonals. This is a slight taper. I want my boss highest. Alright, you can, if you want, take your diagonals here and then over here. There it is. Now I'm going to take, while it's cold or black heat, and mark with a chisel. It's the only time I use a straight chisel because I'm working on a taper here. And I want, this is going to be the stop. We're putting square or round stock in here. I'm not making that farrier tong. You can use these as farrier tongs, but with the little round thing in the middle. While it's cold. Now I'm going to make my hash mark or cleat like in the bottom of the tread. Okay, I'm going to heat it up and forge that. Want it deeper here, shallow. I'll go back in the middle. I will hammer to flatten that terrain down. And then I'll go back in the middle again. This is what holds my square round stock. Square on the diagonal is what I'm talking about. Hold flat stock also with these. Now I'm going to take a punch and I'm going to mark. This punch has, I've never seen these, they're not in the books, none that I've seen. but I don't use flat punches. It's kind of like a center punch. It allows you to mark, for one thing. Then I'll heat it and I'll punch it. Okay, I'm going to punch the hole. When you're punching, don't hit the punch twice. When you're trying to drive the punch, get it out and look. You don't want to hit twice because it just cool your hole off and heat your tool up. I'm going to go all the way to the anvil like one more time. Alright. Now I'm going to level this out like this. I want to hit up here, so I'm going to hit this. I'm going to reestablish my shine line on this side. I'm just lightly hitting it. Here's my shine line again. I don't know if you can see it in that lighting. And I put my punch there, mark it, then heavier. Now I'm going to drive it. 1, 2, 3. So here's the plug, and there's my hole. You can drive it. The plug is free when I drive, or you know, it gives. It's not like you're hitting against your anvil. It's not the same as when I'm driving a punch to make the hole. You hit only once, get it out so you don't cool your material off. Then you can shear the plug out, and it's kind of hot plug. I'm going to show you what it looks like. You can't see it there, can you? It's the opposite of the punch. See? Can you see that? Yeah. And it makes a nice clean hole, almost like you drilled a hole on narrow stuff. Of course, if you're doing a hammer, it's going to make you a countersunk hole, or hourglass hole. There's. So now we cut it off, and I'll do the other end. Alright, I'm going to cut this on a hot cut. This is a hot cut Kanan and Dave made at the Texas event we did. But I call this my greatest invention. This hot cut fits many different Hardys. It's curved instead of straight across. It's tapered shank, so it locks in when you hit it. So here goes. I cut with a round die. This video also was inspired by a young man in Germany that posted a video on iForge Iron. And he was asking for critiques or advice, and so that's why I'm doing this. It's the main reason, but I'm taking my time. I'm hitting every time I turn, and then I hit with a round die, and you just cut all the way around. I try not to cut off because then I might hit my Hardy. The Hardys are not hardened. It's for a hot cut. If you want to cut cold, harden it. But it cuts much quicker, it doesn't jar, and that's the best way of cutting I've seen. Show me better. Okay, here's the other end. Same thing as we did before. I'm going to slow down for you so you can see it. Get the notch on the end. Now this, whether I do this or whether I would have just tapered it in like I did before, you can do either one. Now I'm going to hit it back to the anvil here. If I need to lower it more, I go round die. I need to lower it more here, round die, and I swoop. Here I'm going to get on with the edge of my flat die. Like this. Here, flat die. And then here's where you want to take it down. But like I was saying a while ago, I can go here, just like I did before, getting that length into that taper. I can also break it down one other notch. I'm going to show something else this next heat though, about being able to get this free. The the boss area where you don't have to grind this out. I left that out a while ago. Didn't want to confuse too much, but now we're revisiting this, and we're going to do it this next heat. Alright, I'm just going to get my bar out there. Alright, before I go too far, too fast, I'm going to do this again. And right here, you can come in here and hit that where it forces that back a little bit. Go further down, and you can see it's on the anvil when it's in that state. You know, doing what I just did. Taper it down a little bit. Go back to the boss. And I'm out of heat, but I'm going to break it down here before I can round it up a little bit more. But you see how that got it back? I don't know how the lighting in this boss area. Now I'm going to go ahead and work up into that taper. That's flat die, round die, flat die. I'm not going to worry too much about this right now. I'm going to go ahead and round it, or octagon it. Now I'll go ahead and round that. This is fine heat to do that. Mainly just hold loosely with your hammer. It'll seek the dots or the angle of your taper. If you hold hard and hold your hammer back, you may hit, hard here or hard there. So just hold it loose. Choke up on your hammer. I'll come back up to here now. Alright, I'm going to get this thick part down first. Break this down. Before I finish anything, I'm going to come in here and round it. Check the boss area back. That boss area can be down a little bit far, so. I'm going to take this down a little bit skinnier, match it up to this. So that's all I got to do now. Then I'll move on to the jaws and punching the holes again. But it's, you're basically distributing metal, getting it into the rough form you want, and then you finish up in the end. Don't finish these. I think that's everyone's main problem on tongs is they try and finish this area first. They get too small here, then they go to this area. This and this, try and finish up. They don't break it down on the near side, so it always tapers in that direction, and they create the wrong structure. The structure of a tong is bar. This can either be a bar or a taper, or it can be other types of jaws too. Then your boss area is a bar and a bar in both planes, and then as you go into your reins, it's a taper, reverse taper, this away and slightly this away. And then you can get into a bar form in the middle of your reins and all. But that's the most important thing about tong is the structure of it. All right, I'm going to oval it out now where it's round. So I'm just going to, use flat die. I'm on the anvil. I don't have to do a lot. And I'm going to go back. Oval makes it a little bit stronger. Forging it round keeps it from being, hard on your hands. level it. And right now, you know, the 8 inches I started with to make this is now a little over 24 inches. I just checked it on my forge. And okay. But yeah, this is from 8 inches, you've got a little over 24. I will now mark it from center of my eye to center of this eye and cut it. That'll give me equal tong rings. And if my tong jaws are any different, you just trim that up or file it, grind it, whatever. Alright, I'm going to rivet this. I just got a piece of 3/8 round stock in there. I heated it up, leaving some further down. Bottoming out. There's a 1/2 inch space I'm using. So I'm just going to head it. And then I heat up the other side and rivet that. Alright, so I just heat up the other side and I hit that. And I leave my rivets locked, so like here, you can adjust here a little bit before you undo. I'm going to get them closer here, right there. And depending on what you want to hold, you know, you can close here, adjust here. To adjust, I mean, put whatever you want in there to hold, and set your reins to whatever height or distance. Work these back and forth while they're hot. Be able to open them up. I don't usually put them in water. These are mild steel. This type of tong is fine with mild steel. Some other tongs I use tool steel, but I usually cool in water. You'll hear a creak, you know, to these. See there, as they start to cool. And to take that creak out, you can just cool them off like you can do it in water, but I'd rather do it in oil. I'll go to my oil right now. You'll see the difference here. See, there's no more creak. It makes them go real nice and free. That's it.